loss of wages, the inconvenience, spending money on guest houses, all that is gone. And the e-Sanjeevani platform that the government has established has now had more than 2 crore teleconsults. In fact, consistently doing 1 lakh a day. In some days in April, they did about 3 lakh consults in a day. So telemedicine is one piece. The second is using the medical expertise more effectively. And let me give you an example. You know, pathology, somebody has a lump, you do a biopsy, you want to make a diagnosis, right? So, you need a pathologist. But there are 13 subspecialties in pathology. Breast pathology, gastrointestinal pathology, liver pathology, kidney pathology. Now, you're never going to get those experts in one roof.
That's true.
Right? So you connect them through a digital platform. They actually look at their laptop and they can report sitting in their house 5,000 kilometers away from someone in Africa to a village in Ladakh. So that's another piece. Teleradiology, and let me give you 2 examples of teleradiology. When someone has a stroke, 2 things need to be done. Either you're going to thrombolize that person because he has a clot, or he has a bleed. If he has a bleed, then if you try and thrombolize, that's going to be disastrous. Now, how do you make this diagnosis? You need a CT scan for this. Now, CT scans available everywhere, but you're not going to get a radiologist at 2 a.m. So what do? You actually take an image, you put it on WhatsApp, you have algorithms that tell you bleed, no bleed. Clotting, okay, thrombolize. This can happen in a rural area. You're not going to have enough radiologists in the country, so someone comes to you with a cough, he might have TB. Well, all you do is run an AI algorithm, TB or no TB, can be done. But extremely important to realize the limitation of AI. For all those who watch tennis, you remember the Australian Open, right?
I remember this one, yeah.
So Nadal is down 2 sets, third set, 3-2 down, 40 love. 96% AI prediction that Nadal will lose. 96%, but Nadal wins. That's the human spirit. So you cannot remove the doctor and get AI to do that because AI cannot have empathy. When you see a doctor, you need empathy. You need the doctor to understand what you're going through. And I want to tell you an anecdote that a friend told me. So she got a call from the hospital where her mother was being treated, and the doctor said that, your mom's really sick, you need to come. Please bring your brothers and sisters because she's deteriorating, you need to have a family meeting. So she took her brothers and sisters, they went to the hospital, and the intensivist said that your mom's not well. She's deteriorating. Most probably she's going to need dialysis. She'll go on to non-invasive ventilator and then a ventilator. So while this conversation was happening, the physician who was looking after her, and this was coming from the intensivist, said, but what does mom want? And nobody had asked mom. So my friend was asked to go and meet her mom, and she asked mom, what would you want? And mom said, I've had a beautiful life. I have grandchildren, I have great-grandchildren. I want never to go onto a ventilator. I want to pass away peacefully in my room surrounded by my grandchildren. And that is what was decided and done, and she passed away peacefully. So my friend said that day I realized that there were 2 types of doctors. The intensivist was the doctor of her body. He knew exactly what was needed to care for her, but her internist was the doctor of her soul. And we as clinicians need to be doctors of the mind, soul, and the doctors of body, and AI cannot achieve that. So I think we will use AI effectively, but the human touch. So get high tech, but remain high touch.
Talking about this, absolutely. Talking about this old lady, I'm reminded of the reports that were coming out of Italy, the height of the pandemic, when doctors actually had to make a choice between putting an 80-year-old on a ventilator or a 25-year-old who's just come in. I hope no doctor ever has to do that,
Yes.
Yeah. But the fact remains, telemedicine, while it's definitely going to be a supplement and it's going to help India deliver healthcare to the remote parts of the country, the fact remains that we need more doctors and nurses. So how do we overcome that constraint that we're not producing enough doctors? And all truth be told, it's a great profession. I mean, people should be aspiring for, these jobs like being a doctor or a nurse.
Absolutely. I was just looking at, I do this every year, so I looked at 2022 data on how many class 12 students sat for the entrance exam for medicine. So 1.8 million. So 18 lakh kids sat for the exam. We have 90,000 seats. So 5% will get into medicine. Now, let's assume that out of the 18 lakhs, many were beaten into it by their parents. Okay, you know, my bhatija did it, so you also have to take the entrance exam, and you know, it's very honorable to take this exam and become a doctor. And then, of course, we have this thing in India about mera beta mera naam roshan karega, mere beti mera naam roshan karegi, so medicine karo. But let's discount that. So even if a few lakh go, but only 90,000 get in, so there's a huge potential. So what do we need to do? We need to build a lot more medical colleges. And I have to say, in the last 8 years, you know, we had 54,000 MBBS graduates. Now we have 90,000. We've got 600 medical colleges. The government's opened 100. The private sector's opened 50 more. And the target is really to get to 1 lakh. But what we also need is more specialists. The specialists have gone up from 35 to 45,000, but I think we need 1 lakh specialists. 1 lakh MBBS, 1 lakh specialists, because medicine is too complex now. You just can't do MBBS and manage a patient. If you want to be a family physician,